So there's a lot of people out here in YouTube land, Facebook land, virtual world that are talking about this Iranian war and they have no clue what they're talking about. So Keon is going to break it down for you because I am here to let you know the Iran war is working. And let me explain in layman's terms what's going on right here on Something to Talk About. Let me break something down for everybody because a lot of people out here watching the headlines, they're seeing the explosions, hearing the word war, and thinking that's the whole story. I'm here to tell you that it is not. This whole situation with Iran, yeah, it's not just about missiles flying and tough talk on TV. It is about something way more boring, to be honest with you. However, it's way more powerful than you see. You know what it boils down to? Oil. You heard it. Oh, yeah. Not the dramatic part, not the stuff that gets movie trailers, the stuff that actually runs the world. Oil. Now, here's where it gets almost funny. Because while everybody's arguing online like they generals and know what they're talking about, the real strategy behind this is basically, oh, you want to produce oil? Cool. Go ahead. You just can't sell it. Now, that's the bottom line. No dramatic speech, no big announcement, just quietly cut off the ability to move product. So let me do this. Let me give you a little bit of the backstory because a lot of people are thinking that Donald Trump started this war. And no offense, I am not trying to offend anybody, but if that's honestly what you believe, then you either are 5 years old or you've had your head in the sand for a very long time. The roots of this Iran conflict don't start with the missile of today. They start with the oil and power struggle that was going back to the 1970s. So in 1973, Middle Eastern oil producers launched an Arab oil embargo during the Yom Kippur War, cutting supply to countries like the US. That move that they did shocked the global economy, with oil prices skyrocketing and exposing how dependent the West was on Middle Eastern oil. That's the basis of this. Then comes the real turning point in Iran, 1979, the year that I was born. The Iranian Revolution topples the US-backed Shah and replaces him with an anti-Western Islamic government. Oil production collapsed during the whole this whole situation, triggering another global energy crisis and price spike. So 73 had an issue, 79. Right after that, things escalated relatively quickly. For those that are my parents' age, you remember this. The Iran hostage crisis. Iranian militants seized the U.S. embassy, and in response, the U.S. hits Iran with its first major economic sanctions, and the asset froze. So the moment sets the blueprint for the next 40 years. That particular moment. Iran uses oil and regional influences as leverage. The U.S. and allies use sanctions to choke Iran's oil revenue. And that right there, my friends, is the through line to today. Modern tensions, including war dynamics, still revolve around who controls oil flow and who can sell it. So for you out there talking about Donald Trump got us in the war, no offense, you're an idiot. You got to actually pick up a book and read or do a little bit of research because what you're saying is not true. So here kind of sort of is what people are missing. Iran is still producing oil, millions of barrels every single day, because shutting down oil production instantly, yeah, that is not exactly how it works. This isn't your kitchen sink. You just don't go and say, oh, let me turn this off real quick. No, it's not how it works. Oil fields are pressure systems. They're alive in a mechanical sense. So now imagine this. You're producing all this oil, but nobody's buying. Or worse, they can't buy because shipping routes are restricted, monitored, and blocked. So in this particular case, what do? Right, you store it. Makes sense, right? Put it in tanks. Put it in backup tanks. Put it in old tanks you forgot that you even had. Put it on ships. Just park them offshore like a floating gas station nobody can pull up to. And for a while, that works. For a while, it looks like, see, nothing's happening. Everything is fine. Yeah, okay, until those tanks start getting full. This is where Donald Trump changed the game. He's not playing checkers. He is playing war chess. Now, let's pause right here, because this is where the strategy goes from interesting to, oh, that's kind of ruthless. When storage tanks fill up, you don't have a choice anymore. Production has to slow down and at worst, stop. Not optional, not political. This is physical physics. And this is where people really don't understand the consequences. This is why people are on Facebook running their trap and they don't know what they're talking about. Because again, this ain't a light switch. You shut down oil production wrong, it goofs up the whole system. We're talking about pressure drops in the reservoir, water creeping into places that it shouldn't be, equipment getting damaged, wells becoming unstable. In other cases, they break and they just don't restart later. You lose capacity, not one time, permanently. So let me translate that into plain English for y'all Facebook scholars that think you know about politics. It's not just we stopped your money for a little while. It's we may have just reduced how much money you can ever make from this field again. And people out here still arguing like this is just about bombs. Y'all are idiots, no offense. No, this is about economic pressure with a long memory. Let's call this what it is, because war strategy sounds complicated. This one, it's actually relatively simple. Keep production going, block the exits, let the system choke itself. That's it. So for y'all out there running your trap, this ain't a Hollywood moment. Just slow, unavoidable pressure. It's like watching somebody try to pour water into a bottle with no cap, except the bottle is already full. You just keep pouring, and eventually everything backs up. And here's the part where I'm going to get a little sarcastic, because you know, somebody somewhere said, yeah, they'll figure it out. Oh, really? Figure out what? How to create infinite storage out of thin air? How to magically bypass global shipping restrictions? How to convince the market to just ignore geopolitics? Really? Good luck with that. So they're stretching storage, using old infrastructure, repurposing facilities, floating oil ships like a parking lot on water. And that buys time, but it doesn't solve a problem because the clock is ticking the entire time. Every barrel produced without being sold gets you closer to the wall. Now let's not get carried away like this is some perfect master plan, because there's always a flip side. Always. First off, Iran can adapt. They can slow production, find alternative buyers, and use workarounds, but it's not an instant collapse. Secondly, the global market feels it. That's what we're feeling right now. You restrict oil supply, prices go up, and guess what? That doesn't just hurt them. That hits gas prices, shipping costs, groceries, travels. Yeah, we're feeling it right now. Third, the longer it goes, the more unpredictable it gets, because pressure doesn't break systems. It can escalate situations too. So, when people ask, is the strategy working? Here's the real answer. It's not flashy, but you doggone sight better believe it's effective, because it's hitting one place that matters most: the money. And in modern conflict, you don't always need to win on the battlefield. You just got to control the flow, because sometimes you don't destroy the system. You don't bomb it. You don't even touch it directly. You just let it keep running until it runs out of room. And once the tanks are full, the shutdown doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. You heard it right here from Keon on Something to Talk About.